Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey everyone, welcome to our second live stream where we will be doing a little bit of building for you guys. I know a lot of you had commented in the past that you kind of like to see the process we go through, and so we thought this would be a good time since it's been a while since we've last really updated with you guys on the project. Got a lot to show, got a lot to do, and we're eager to have any questions that you might have. However, before we get into that, I do have a question for you guys. So, as we go through the stream today, if you feel like this is a type of thing you'd like to see more of in the future, we were thinking that this is something that me and Matt would be able to do either weekly or bi weekly if you like the content. You like kind of hanging out with us in the build, seeing what's going on,
Hmm.
what we're working on at the moment. And it's just something that, if you guys enjoy, we'd be glad to share with you more. So let's just make sure that the stream is working before we really get into it.
It,
I can
it
see.
seems like it's working. I'm kind of looking on my end, and I see no problem.
Yeah, I see
See the live chat.
7 people. It says that we have right here, and I see a couple people commenting in the chat. So Matt will have the chat up more than I will because if I have both videos open at the same time, it's kind of awkward for me to go back and forth. And because this is going to be a building stream, both of us are actually going to need to open some plans, but we will be checking with the chat as much as we can over this next hour or so, depending on how long people stick around. And
Yes, don't.
feel free to ask questions about the project, about Titanic in general. This is more of just kind of a hangout with Gantry 401 and the people who are interested in the project.
Yep. So yeah, don't be surprised if we accidentally miss something because again we're gonna be looking at plans and actually building. So if I missed your question, I apologize. Uh, if you want to post it, I guess on the Facebook group, and we'll probably be able to answer it there. Uh, so I guess would you like to
Yeah,
get started then?
yeah. Do you want to kind of introduce what we're going to be working on today and what it
Sure.
is that is currently going on?
Sure, sounds good. So, as you can probably see, in ZBLDS looking at it, we have gold lines and also blue dots and purple blocks all over the ship. And
Yes.
what these are basically are plates basically. So, if you can imagine, we're trying to trace out the individual plates that were on the ship using a variety of plans that we have. The blue lapis blocks are going to be those are windows, which we've used kind of as reference as to where the plate line should go. And the purple blocks are kind of they're plates as well, but they are plates that kind of stick out a little more. So we're trying to make them look different so we know what they are.
Yeah,
So
those
basically,
purple
yeah,
plates are overlapping other plates that are on the hull. Mostly they're within the midsection of the ship, kind of towards the middle of the superstructure. Kind of reinforce since Titanic was such a long ship for the time period, they really needed to strengthen that mid keel portion of the ship from waves and just the bending action on the water.
mhm. So basically what we're going to be doing, and hopefully we're not don't want to make this too boring, but I mean the nature of what we're going to be doing is going to be not super compelling, I would say, but hopefully this will be interesting nonetheless for those watching.
hmm And before we do start, I know a lot of you are probably interested just to kind of know what has been done since it has been about 6 months since our last live stream update video. And this
Wow.
the yeah, it's been a while. And the purpose of this stream isn't necessarily to really go in detail over what's been done. You'll probably get glimpses of stuff as we work, front to back on the ship. But to do a brief summary, we've gotten the forecastle done, the forward well deck, almost all of boat deck has been done. It's just mostly just changing things here and there when we find new information or different photos that seem to indicate different things. We have the funnels done, and now currently the engineering guy and Matey and Mr. D have been working on the A deck, enclosed and open portions of the promenade. They've been working on the pipes in those areas and adding in all of the miscellaneous details that are
Like
there.
textures and all that stuff.
And the future, once me and Matt get done with the plating, both on the port side, which is currently being done, and then the starboard side is we're going to continue working towards the stern, working on the after well deck, and then the poop deck itself. Oh, and just kind of an update that hasn't really been mentioned all that much or has really seen a lot of public attention is that last true update video, which was even before the live stream came out, was the hull update video. The hull has changed significantly since then as well. Most of those changes have been on the stern.
Mhm.
Matey brought to my attention a couple key features about the shape of the stern that needed updating, and it's been reworked almost completely from top to bottom so that now when you compare it to photographs, the hull lines, kind of the shape, matches exactly the way you would expect, where Titanic actually almost has a very sharp plated edge to it between the upper portion of the stern and the lower kind of more natural hull shear hull lines that you would expect more on the bow, kind of that kind of makes it an iconic look for the time that was featured on a lot of White Star ships. But anyways, so we will get into it. If there's any questions, let us know. If you have any comments, we'd be glad to comment right back. But what we're going to be doing is if you look, Matt, I already had the line done
Line
down
for this
here.
next.
This wasn't,
Yeah,
yeah, I kind of added this beforehand because
it's
this
all
is
right.
one of the little bit slower sections. You just see me going across.
Yeah.
And the plan we're going to be using is one of the Titanic CAD plans. I'd recommend you go check out the website. And if you're really interested in either just the structure of the ship in general, or you're interested in building your own highly detailed version of the Titanic, I'd recommend checking that website out. It has for sale tons of really useful plans from Bob Reed, and we're going to be using that plan to complete some of the shell plating.
Cool. All right. So, I have to find out exactly where we are in our plan. I think it's the from what I can see, we're on the
Oh, and just a
third
comment,
row
guys.
down.
If you wonder why I keep going into my inventory in game mode 1, that's because what I'm doing, you can't see it on the live stream, but what's happening is I'm basically tabbing out of Minecraft so I can move around the plan that's on the other half of my screen. So don't be confused, like, why does he keep pausing
Doing that.
pausing the actual video? That's what's going on.
All
Oh,
right.
okay.
So
So
we
this
are.
line, yeah, is right after the first large 7 block wide or tall one there. So we already did the little smaller one. And so do you have your place where I
I
am?
think so.
Yeah,
I
this
think
first one
so. This one looks
is
like it's right after that first window on. Wait, that's not a window. That is.
actually going to get out a ruler because that's a little bit helpful.
Oh, I should open up these plans in Photoshop. That would help.
This first one looks like it's either directly lined up or just slightly to the left of the line here. So we're going to come down here, place it. And I'll wait for a second for you, Matt, to kind of orient
Sure.
yourself on the plan.
I mean,
You can kind of
I
see
had
the
a.
one I just did right now.
Oh,
And
looks
while you're
correct
doing
from what
that,
I can see.
I will check, see if there's
Looks like
any
it's supposed to be about a
comments.
block or two over from that line right above the anchor hole.
Thanks for the comment, Cole88. I appreciate, and I'm sure everyone else that's been working hard on the ship appreciates the support. And just kind of looking through
He's not
a
dead.
couple more of the comments.
I'm going to ask where Patrick Bateman is at. I am going to assume that is the engineer guy. I would
And
think.
yeah, engineer guy lives in Germany,
He,
so right now it's probably around 3 or 4 in the
in the morning
morning.
for him, so he is sleeping.
Yeah, unlikely that he'd be able to join us for these live streams. But okay, so we're on the second line now, which is a little
Yeah,
bit
the
further
first line
back.
looked fine. I was just trying to get myself ready.
This one doesn't
This
really look
oh,
like it lines up with all too much. In fact, the only thing it really touches after a while is the porthole,
Oh,
second porthole on D deck. So is there anything else? Oh, it does line up. It lines up with that very first small section all the way up right below the
oh yeah,
eye in
Titanic.
Titanic.
That's is that one right there.
So
Bring it
copy
down.
down here.
Let's see. Toll 88 wants to know if we have a book called The Wall Chart of the Titanic by Tom McCluskey.
The wall
Uh,
chart?
of Titanic.
Considering I've never heard of that book, no, I don't have it, but I am always
Let
looking into really good books on certain information. So if I can
me look
remember
into that.
if I can remember the title, I'll look into it later.
Oh, this one lines up with a. It should be in between the plate. Actually, plate right after the Titanic one. So this right over here. Uh,
Oh,
bring it-
yeah, from the same.
it's yeah, but it's supposed to be on the side of this line of windows here. So speed is way too fast.
Just as a brief comment as we're working here, a lot of people always wonder why it's difficult for me specifically, or I guess also on the Facebook page, why we don't update as often as either you guys or even us for that matter would like to. And that really just comes down to the fact that stuff like this and the progress that we are able to make over time is it's pretty slow going when you're working on getting things as accurate as you really can. And so kind of by the end of the stream today, you'll know what it is or kind of
We're slow at updating.
why videos
But
don't come out as often as they do, which is really part of the big reason that led us to want to try out these live streams.
yeah, it allows us to kind of get videos out without like actually like having to make a video, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
We can kind of
exactly.
just like stream and uh
Oh, I don't think
there.
I put that one in the right place.
No, I don't think you did either. It's
No.
basically it looks like it follows the plates above right below the plating line below the Titanic. So we go down there, one block over. Like, right, want to take a look at that. That's not up against the not right up against the windows.
So that one is there. How come that one looks like it's almost close to this one? Oh, I guess it
Hmm.
would come close, maybe. There's a certain one
Oh,
right
that one
here.
right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
What is,
wait a minute.
yeah, why do we
Wait a
see
minute.
him
How did
on
I?
here?
Oh, because there's only two blocks in between the windows and this frame piece right here. So either it's going to be right on top of this place, this right in the same line as the uh this line right here. I don't know how to
Hmm.
explain that. Or
Oh,
move it forward. There's
here's
only two
here's an
spots, so
interesting question from Cole88, which is, what's your opinion
oh, you saw
on?
that?
Yeah. Oh, you saw it, but you just wanted to ignore it? Okay. What's your opinion on the Titanic not actually sinking, but the Olympic? I feel that this is a total hoax. I've done my research to determine that it was in fact the Titanic that sunk. If you want to make your reply first, go right ahead, Matt.
No, no, no. I guess I was just finding it funny. I definitely think that it is a hoax that Nick didn't sink. I'm pretty sure it's been proven. I haven't actually done like research myself, but it's just one of those like silly conspiracy theories just for the sake of being a conspiracy theory.
Now, what exactly is going on here? Because I see what that one is. Oh, I guess that one does come close.
It
Just on the other
no,
side.
it's better to be. I think it's better to line it up with this one near the yellow line. Also, Zachary Brevin says something about using the tiny blocks mod. We can get a lot. We can add a hell of a lot more on the Titanic. It's
This is,
true,
yeah, this is actually a good
but
question because this is something we
we thought about.
we thought about doing for a while. However, the mini blocks mod, a lot of people probably don't know, hasn't been updated for a really, really long time. And the people like Marcus Grover and the other Russian guy, Drummer 23, I think that's his
Yeah, I
name.
think that's what it is.
Yeah, Drummer 23. Both of their Titanics are actually in version of Minecraft like 1.6 or 7.
Just use the tiny blocks
So,
mod.
right, way back even before Minecraft came out, or the official release of Minecraft came out, because I was interested as well in kind of checking out their ships, and I found it was actually really difficult to get the version of Minecraft and the things needed to install not only that version of Minecraft, but the mods that they used and the texture pack. So the difficulty in doing all of those things is kind of what brought me to the point where I wanted to do a super realistic and accurate version of Titanic in 4 to 1 because there's still in 4 to 1 it's such a large scale that you can put in so much detail already in the default version of Minecraft and in a way with the default textures so that people once it was completed could very easily if they were very new to Minecraft or simply Titanic his people who were interested in the ship but didn't play Minecraft all that often. No matter what your experience with Minecraft was, it'd be very easy for you to not only download the world but then easily explore it for yourself without having the hassle.
Add mods.
Mhm. And even kind of unrelated to the ease of everything, it's almost like a really good challenge to ourselves to see what can actually be done within like itself. And there has been a lot of features added over the last couple of months, like heads, armor stands, that we can really take advantage of. And I'm sure a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
people will be surprised by the end of when they're actually able to explore the ship, just how much we were able to do with the there's almost no
no
limits once
blocks and
you
vanilla.
know exactly how to abuse some of Minecraft's features. So, have we
Abuse
figured
is a
out
good
what's
word.
going on here yet, or
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, either it's going to be one of these two spots. It's going to be either right on top of, if you fly all the way up, the little small section below the yellow line section.
right?
It's going to be right on top of that or one block over. I think it's got to be underneath it because otherwise, one block over, it's going to be way too close to this plate right here, which is not supposed to be really anywhere near this one.
Well, this one almost seems like it's off because do you see how right now it's on the right side of the windows, but on the blueprint it's supposed to be on the left side of the windows?
That one?
Yeah, this one.
Are you sure we're looking at the same one?
I think we are. One because
Because
we're
what?
we're on the third line. If you go up far enough,
No, wait, no, third line. We're on the fourth line.
we're on the fourth line?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh,
I
never
was
mind.
like,
That's why I'm so confused.
yeah,
Okay, one, two, three. There's
because it
four.
can't be in line with this one. It's got to be this one, or else it's in line with, so it's like
Oh,
right
so
next
okay,
up.
yeah, I agree with you then. I was originally placing it as if
Okay,
it was the third line.
that's why.
My
I
bad.
and I think I already placed the fifth line too.
Okay. Oh, but I didn't get to do my answer for the Titanic Olympic conspiracy switch, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
actually a good timing on that question. Not that you would have known, but when I was traveling back to school for this semester of college, I on the airplane, I was actually reading the book by Dan Klistner or Steve Hall. Yeah, Steve Hall is one of the authors. It's Titanic or Olympic, like like which ship sank. I read that book and it was really interesting because the first half of the book is dedicated to kind of telling the story and going into like both sides. Like basically, it takes the premise that the Olympic or switched with the Titanic seriously and made an argument within like the constraints of the actual facts and like how it would be possible. But then it also goes into why it's not possible because of the history, the technical specifications of both ships. But what I was really fascinated by is the second half of the book had dedicated sections to not only comparing every single difference between Titanic and Olympic. I really learned a lot from that book. It's really interesting. But then the next section after that is it goes into because Titanic's story is told so often, it was really refreshing to read a whole good, maybe 30 or 40 pages about the history of Olympic, because that's often not told because normally she's overshadowed by her younger sister, the Titanic. And then not only that, but it's such a good deal that there was a entirely another section because if you're going into the comparisons between Olympic and Titanic, why not go into the story and the specifications of the Britannic? So it told Britannic's story as well. So I really enjoyed the book. It was a great time. Learned a lot about not only Titanic, Olympic, but all of the Olympic class ships. And it's a good read. But as far as what I think about the switch theory itself, as soon as you get to the point where you start to learn about any any um, facet of Titanic, whether it be the people or the historical context or the society in which it went, not even just the technical specifications. If you learn about the specifications, that's a great way to learn about the ship or just about the story of the sinking itself. You soon, like, if you learn about any of those things or go into any actual in-depth research, it instantly becomes obvious that it's not possible for the two ships to have switched. It's an interesting story, but even the premise itself doesn't really make any sense because one of the interesting facts that if you were learning about the history of the ship, not necessarily the specifications, which ironically would be the first thing you would think of to discredit the myth that Olympic and Titanic switched, but the history itself is Titanic, surprisingly, and the Olympic were actually underinsured. So there would have been no point for White Star Line to have purposely sunk one of their ships, regardless of how damaged it was, because they would have lost money because the ships itself were underinsured.
Hmm.
So they couldn't have made money even if they successfully did everything that was impossible and then did the impossible without anyone knowing about it. So without a motive, the whole story just falls apart from the beginning.
Oh, there you go. So I've been putting these lines in as you've been talking there.
Cole
Want to check
88, I
them?
see your next
Oh yeah,
question.
there's actually a lot. I just let you finish, but there's actually quite a few questions.
Yeah, feel
Well,
free to start
actually,
sharing.
yeah. If you want to check them or start building while you build, and I'll take a look and answer some questions that I see.
Yep,
Let's see. Someone asked about who built the Neptune. I believe that was already answered. It was Mr. D and Patrick, or the engineer guy.
that it
And someone
was.
else asked us. Hmm?
Oh, I was
Oh,
just
oh.
backing you up.
Someone asked us about the padded room, and yes, we definitely heard about that. So we will certainly be including that as much as we can. Or I mean, like including that once we get to it. Someone told you to use infinite night potion to avoid the problem of getting more potion. I am an old school Minecrafter, and I have no idea how to get infinite night potion. So if someone could explain to me slash us how to get infinite night potion, that would be
Yeah, I'd be happy to use it if I knew it.
fantastic. Fantastic. There's lingering potion of night vision. That's the same thing. Please explain that to us. And so what about the book made before the Titanic that told about a ship that sank? The Titan, I believe, it was called. Details are hauntingly accurate. Yes, it is. That was
Yes, the Titan that supposedly predicted,
the ship sinking.
right, basically was a forewarning of things to come. However, I haven't read the book myself, but I have talked to people who have, and apparently the similarities between the Titanic and the Titan are very surface level. There is some interesting similarities between the two stories, one being real and one being obviously a fictional story. But there is quite a few differences that make the whole thing a little less spooky, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've heard that. I think Honor and Glory actually has a historical like snapshot video on their channel about that.
Really? I did not know that. And of course, this line has nothing to line up with. I hate when that
Okay, I finally caught up to where you are.
happens. Okay.
Finally.
Finally.
It also looks like we have one of these double lines that we forgot to
Oh shoot, did
choose.
we?
Yeah.
Oops.
Okay, this one supposedly is lining up with
Oh,
that up
how did we miss
there,
that?
which it should. Is there a reason why you thought maybe to put it over? It might have been because of the purple plate above it.
Maybe, but I would say line it up with the other um, plate line we have.
Yeah.
This one has to go in between these two. window. Oh no, app forward.
Books. Just looking through the comments.
So we're gonna go.
Zoom out. Yes, at the end of the stream, we'll do a quick look over everything on the exterior. So
Oh
stick
yeah,
around
well,
for
this
that.
is a building. This is strictly like just kind of a building stream. I mean, we don't answer questions, but we're just kind of trying to do stuff like this maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, just to kind of give you guys more of a uh, keep you guys more informed rather than like trying to update every rather than make like a formal update video every what 6 months maybe.
Yeah, since those take
I
so
think
long
this
to
might be
do, this might be something
a
better.
little more. It's also more manageable, I think, than trying to actually plan out when we're gonna do something.
Okay, John Banana, I am trying your command here.
Oh my goodness, I am missing my was not
Okay,
scrolling down.
0 and then
Do
true?
affect that night vision?
Oh, there we go. Okay, well, I gave it to everyone for 9,999 seconds.
I am totally cool with that because no more night potion. That's amazing. Thank you so much, John Banana. You're the best.
Yes. Okay, Zachary asks, what do we think of Titanic Honor and Glory?
Cool. Awesome. Uh, I want them to get to the kitchen or the galley. God
Yeah, you
damn it.
do, don't you?
Oh my God. I've never seen a like good render of the galley. Like everything has been just pictures or like some I haven't really been able to find any good information. I mean, I might get people sending me like, pictures here and there, but I've seen nearly everything and everything is so vague about the galley. Even the books, like don't get me wrong, the ship Magnificent has some great information of it. Even they like kind of just gloss over
Hmm.
uh the kitchen. And when I say gloss over, I mean they have an entire chapter, but that's that's like not much compared to like I guess the hull, which gets like multiple chapters. So
Yeah, one of the funny things is when you start going into really the small little intricate details and trying to do research on those things and finding information about stuff. When you get books like Titanic, the Ship Magnificent to try to really fill up on like just the wealth and database of things that are known about the ship, one of the things you do realize is there's a lot of things that people just have no clue about and that are still a mystery to everyone. So
yeah,
when over 100 years later, when people think that, everything to know about Titanic has already been either written about, talked about, made movies of, there's still so much to know and so much to discover. And
yeah.
it would help maybe if Harlan and Wolf was a bit more
You
helpful
mean
in
Honor and
really.
Glory?
No,
Or
no, no.
Honor Harlan Wolf?
Yeah, Harlan and Wolf releasing
Oh,
some
oh,
of their
releasing more
historical,
information.
yeah, some of their historical documents.
Yeah,
But until that happens, a lot of stuff is going to remain a mystery.
fortunately. So Cole 88 asks us again, or asks us, are we going to be including the nomadic in the map? And the answer is yes. I'm laughing just because yes, I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the. Isn't that one ship that's in the dock at the time?
No, no,
Nomadic.
Nomadic is one of the
Oh, nomadic is
tenders.
not.
Nomadic and the
Oh,
Traffic are the Cherbourg tenders.
oh, right. Okay, in that case, no, we will not.
But this is a good question. This is a two-part
Yes, it
question. We could
is.
actually talk about two things about building other extra ships, is because, as you guys know, we are currently in the Southampton world. Behind me, you can actually see this gold line. That is the passenger sheds, or the outlines for the passenger sheds. So Southampton at the time, there were other ships in the harbor. So we will be including them. I think right next to Titanic and Berth 46, there was the Majestic, the Philadelphia, and the St. Louis. So we'll have to include those. We'll build the New York, the ship that almost stopped Titanic's voyage before it even got started. And
They
then
will
there's
obviously. Okay,
and there's like one more.
continue.
So yeah, as far as extra ships go, we will be building them. As far as Cherbourg goes, we're thinking about doing another map. So there's going to be the Southampton map, which Titanic is going to be set up for Southampton, accurate to the photos that we have of Southampton. But then we're also going to have a version of the ship where some details and some positions of certain things will be slightly different, and it's going to be what we're going to call the ocean map. And what we're thinking right now is we're not going to do the what everyone imagines when they think of Titanic in Cherbourg. We're going to be doing the we're going to be doing Titanic entering Cherbourg next to, I forget what that fortress like structure is, but we're gonna
Oh,
have,
it's in French. The name is in French. I don't
yeah,
remember it
I don't
off the top of
entirely
my head.
remember it, but that's gonna be the ocean map, and so we're gonna have like maybe a few little sailboats here and there, like around the ship, but then in the background or on the map, there'll be that fortress structure part of the map. So you get a lot of ocean, but then you also get that to look at and a couple little sailboats. So other ships, yes, but because we're doing that, we're probably not going to build initially the nomadic or the traffic. But good question.
Yeah. So far, these lines have been pretty easy to do. They've lined up. Do you have another question? Someone asked about reading the Ballard books on the Bismarck and the Guadalcanal. I have not.
No, me neither.
So they
Yeah,
sound interesting though.
this line.
And then someone, Zachary Vlogs MLG, is asking what made us start the Titanic 4-1. Do you want to answer that now, or did we plan to answer that in a separate? Oh no, that was something different question.
Well, we did kind of go into it why we wanted to do 4-1 a couple times. Just
Should we reference them to our previous stream or video, whenever it was,
well, I
or should
think
we
I
explain
talked
again?
about it, but if you want to give your perspective on why you thought you would want to participate in a 4-1 project, go right ahead.
Sure. Well, I wanted to participate in it because, well, as you know, if you are aware, I had made a 1-to-1 scale or one to slightly bigger than one scale. God, about 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought it was pretty good, but I knew that it was bad. That it had so many errors in it, and to actually have to go back and build a 1-to-1, I didn't want to, and so I was helping ZB here with his own Titanic for the sake of I want to help him out. And when we had taken a break, and he came back and like, hey, I have plans. I have a trace out the side view for a 4-to-1 Titanic. I'm like, wow, that's really big. That's gonna be a lot of work. You know that, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. So we kind of went with it just because it's a really good scale. It's a big scale. It's the biggest we can possibly get without running into height issues. Really, it gets us the most detail, and I think it just I personally I don't know I like Lookman. It's as intimidating as it sounds. With the group that we have, uh, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to get it done. Anyways, that was kind of my lengthy answer there.
Quicker than I was able to answer it.
I'm trying to keep answers low.
I think that's probably good.
Your ship sucked back then. No offense, but you did make a huge improvement. No, don't. I completely agree with you, Zachary Vlogs. My ship did suck. It was pretty bad. Like when I go back onto it, I'm like, wow, this is not very not very good. But I mean, for the time, I literally knew no, I knew barely anything about the ship. I had very
Yeah,
terrible plans. I didn't even have
actually,
any books, so
if people want
I
to
think it
know,
did.
like the short answer to why do 4-1 is because my short answer is I thought my current ship sucked and
I
I
want to
wa-
do better.
yeah, I wanted to do more. Although if you are getting into shipbuilding, probably starting with 4-1 isn't the best
Not
idea.
no.
I I know for a fact that I learned a lot about just building and planning in general in my, even though it was never finished, my old like 1.5-to-1 scale Titanic,
Hmm.
that really prepared me for this project. But even then, there's really nothing that can prepare you depending on how just in depth you want to go with accuracy and research, because this project I feel like everyone on the team is constantly learning, helping each other.
Oh yeah,
Like everyone on the team is bringing something completely different, but absolutely essential to the project. And
yeah.
no one on the team has started out knowing everything that they need to know or how to build everything they needed to build. I don't, there's loads of things that I couldn't even get into or couldn't even list properly that I've learned about or improved on or corrected more times than I can count.
Okay.
Although I can say one, the stern. It's like every other day I'm working on the stern practically.
So I know Zachary we saw a comment. I think, are you talking about the one? What would be the fate of Titanic if it didn't sink? That's, I mean, that sounds pretty easy to answer to me. It would probably just gotten, scrapped eventually.
I would say, yeah, either it definitely would have had a similar history to
Olympic.
Olympic, right?
It might have even taken part in the war.
Well, I think it would have, and depending on whether or not it got through the war, it would either have continued to like it would have been a similar story to that of Olympic if it did get through the war, or depending on what happened during the war, it might have sank then because ships in the White Star Line and Cunard at the time, there were tons of losses. In fact, Cunard was hurt the worst by the war, and so reparations afterwards, the British government gave what they commandeered from the German Navy at the time and gave them to companies like Cunard and White Star Line.
This one I see here.
Yeah, this
I'm gonna,
double one,
I'm
I'm
gonna,
trying to,
I think this one.
yeah, to go through the middle of the two
Yeah,
windows.
exactly.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
Cool. Also, someone says that that hull on the old ship, DB sucked, but it
What are you
wasn't that
talking
bad.
about? It was great.
You're right. It was beautiful. It was
I couldn't even improve on it with this version. I'm so disappointed. Why do you think I keep having to change the stern?
just trying to match your previous work, your masterpiece.
You can't match perfection. Yeah, that one's fine.
Clearly, do you ever
I wish it was easier to keep
cons
track of where I was on the plan.
would you ever
However,
consider would you ever consider doing a Britannic? As of right now, no. But I mean, that is subject to change. Once,
Engineer Guy has brought up a few times that he would like, after Titanic is complete, to renovate the ship and convert it into an Olympic. Of what time period, I don't entirely know yet.
I have,
But
I have,
plans for Britannic would take a lot of reworking. Already, after reading about all the differences between Olympic and Titanic, I already know that that would be its own project, just like this, to convert this Titanic into a proper Olympic of whatever time period. Even back when, during the first refit, where Olympic and Titanic were at their most similar, it would still take months and months and months of work to get them to get the Olympic as accurate as the Titanic would have been or will be once it's done. But as far as Britannic goes, we'd actually have to completely redo large portions of the hull because Britannic was actually, I think, about I forget how many inches, like 18 or like 1.5 feet wider in breadth than Olympic and Titanic. And that had to do with because they knew they wanted to add those big gantry like lifeboat holders along like the first, second, oh no, first, third, and fourth funnel. That because Britannic was going to be more top heavy, they needed to have a more structurally sound base for the ship itself, and so they increased the breadth of the ship.
yeah.
So that would mean completely change in 4-1. That would be completely changing the hull itself.
Uh, you guys are posting a lot of questions, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I like the questions. I was trying to keep up with this. Again, I apologize if we missed your questions, guys. We're trying our best. Uh, how accurate is the 1997 movie Titanic?
It's the most accurate depiction of Titanic in
The
film.
history of ever. Oh, in film, yes.
In
I thought you were
film.
being sarcastic, but no, he is right. It is very accurate in film. But
Wh-
in terms of reality,
I do have an idea for something related to the 1997 film that I won't discuss right now because it would be bad of me to
spoilers.
spoil it, right? But I don't know. Just keep that in mind about the 1997 film. I really enjoyed it. It's what got me into Titanic when I was a lot younger. It's what got me interested in originally reading books about the ship. Well, I can't say that. I started reading books about the Titanic before I saw the movie, but definitely it was a catalyst for driving my interest in the ship all the way through my childhood and till today. And I mean, I still go back and watch the movie all the time, even though, like, some of the stuff, although the interior spaces, you have to be careful because a lot of them are inaccurate. There is a lot of exterior details and things like, how does this exactly look like? Are rivets here? Kind of going into that stuff, the movie sometimes is a good reference. But it's really interesting knowing about the real Titanic and being able to depict all of the differences between the movie and the reality of the ship. And it's kind of
Yeah,
a fun
absolutely.
exercise.
Okay, so here on the plans, this bottom line actually breaks up now. So either um for now or break it up. What do you think? Jeez. Oh my goodness.
Uh,
Oh, someone wants to know when the next aerospace cube video is coming out. Which aircraft is it?
oh,
I
good
don't know if you want
question.
to answer that, but try to
Yeah.
answer that question quickly so we can get to other
Yeah, okay. Aerospace Cube
Titanic-related.
Project. I'm currently in the process of reworking the way that series is going to work. It's going to be different than what you've seen. The plane that will come out with it is going to be the 737. So just like what I said was going to be the case, but it's going to be completely different. Like don't expect it to be the same types of videos. That's all I'll say.
Okay, cool. How do you plan on making the rooms that have no specific deck plans or information on them? Uh, well, I'd have to know exactly what rooms we're talking about. His Exominer 406. How do you plan on making them? I guess we'd do our best, use find as much information that we can, and then from there, use common sense. What makes the most sense for building a room? Like for example, the galley. Like there is not a lot of information on it. So me being an actual pastry chef in real life, I know about how kitchens work and how they're arranged and everything. So using that knowledge and common sense, I get an idea of how it should you know be laid out and what would make the most sense with the information that we have. So that's kind of answering that question.
And thanks to Bruce Beveridge, a lot of the hard work has been done for us in terms of what actually goes in certain rooms. We've had to interpret a lot of things based on historical references that aren't necessarily on the Titanic for some things, like just thinking about the uses of things and certain rooms. The best example I can give recently that we did was the empties room in the stern
Oh yeah,
around the refrigerated cargo. Bruce Beveridge's plan shows nothing for that, and there's no description of rooms like that, and that being an example. But we do know enough about the process of the crew and the equipment that they used and kind of what they they would be using at the time. We have enough information to fill in those gaps and but for most of the time Bruce Beveridge has the list of like what goes in certain places and then it just comes down to figuring out okay, we know it's supposed to be a dresser, but what does that dresser look like? And then that's really the only interpretation that we have to figure out. So it's kind of nice.
yeah. Okay, so like I said, there's the bottom line here that we have, this gold line, bottommost line we have, back a couple lines. It's supposed to kind of break and do like a kind of angly thing that it does on the upper portion.
Yep, I did that
Actually,
already.
oh, you did?
Yep. Yeah, I knew it did that, so I spent time before the stream already figuring this out, so we didn't have to worry about it.
Wait, the bottom line here, or did you just trace it? Did you actually build it or trace it?
Well, if you come all the way over here, you can
Wait.
see it curves properly.
Oh no, no, not that, not that.
Oh, not that.
No, no. I mean all the way over like here, where these over where they're what's it called? I'm honestly unfamiliar with what these things are, but it angles much like it does on the upper portions of the ship.
Oh, are you talking about like those spaces
Yeah,
in the plating? Well,
yeah.
since I don't have the next horizontal
Okay,
line below it, I haven't added those yet.
okay. So we're just gonna ignore that for now.
Yeah, we have to ignore that.
Okay, cool. Uh, Cole wants to know if we had a chance, we take if we had the chance, would you take a ride in the Titanic if it had not sunk?
I would go on the
Well,
Titanic personally, reg- you know, as was.
I suppose that's a difficult question. Like, would I get a chance, like me, how as I am now, knowing about the Titanic, would I go on it? Yes,
That's a good
but
caveat.
if I had if let's say I was born in I don't know the 1900s and the Titanic did not sink, I wouldn't really know to go on it because it's not like this huge famous ship, so I wouldn't really uh have to want to go on it. But I assume you want to know the former answer and the former reason, and the answer is yes. I would certainly. And someone asked you want us to know if we're gonna we would do a conversion to Titanic 2. It's like
Oh,
the Titanic 2 that Clive Palmer is building.
that would have to be a completely separate project. We couldn't even
Yeah.
use the hull on this ship.
No, because it's a very different
Like
hull.
Britannic, the breadth of the ship is much wider, and I don't know. I actually don't know if the length of the ship is exactly the same, but I know the bow has a different structure. The stern is completely different underneath the water, at least.
Well, that line can't be there that we just placed.
It can't be.
No,
What do you mean?
that answers that question.
Wait, am I? Oh, I think I'm. Oh, I'm one too low. Sorry. I'm on the next line below that, or I was looking at the wrong line, wrong section.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Will a face reveal come out?
Not me.
Uh, I don't really have any plans to do a face reveal. I don't think any of us really had plans to do a face reveal. I don't really see I don't really see a necessity for it.
We do have plans for a meet the team video at one point. Now that the team is kind of set in who's a part of it, we have, I think, all the members that we will have through the end of the project. So I can actually start getting those interviews done for you guys. So that's about as much of an introduction to people as you're probably going to get
That is
because I can't really say for other people. I know I don't really have an interest in showing my face. I wouldn't be against it completely, but I'm kind of, I don't really have an opinion on the idea. But as far as other team members go, I kind of let them have their privacy. That wasn't something that was really
thought about.
discussed when they joined the team. Can you make the CRJ family video in the aerospace project? I'm so anxious for new videos. Which CRJ are you talking about? There are quite a few different versions.
Two, five.
But yes, I do have plans on not only making CRJs, I plan on remaking the ERJs. I plan on.
Oh,
Oh,
surprise guest with us.
wow, this is someone who hasn't even been on
Very long
the,
time. He's
the server
a
in a
good
very
friend of
long time.
Pepsi's and Mordice. I think if you
Yeah,
know Mordice. We should let him know we're live streaming.
I suppose this is a bit more riveting than what we've
Ah,
actually been currently doing.
ah, get it, guys?
Oh, he says he is
Riveting.
watching it. I'm up to say hi.
Get it,
Well,
guys?
hi.
Riveting because we're doing plates.
You're terrible. I suppose it's my fault.
Uh, I can't
For
wait for the comments now. Like, I hate you, Dead. Uh, hello. Oh, oh, hi.
okay, that one's done. Okay,
I
that
just
one.
did. I think that's not 100% sure. Like,
You're not 100% sure about this one?
I think that one. It looks like then it's correct. We have three more lines to go. Oh, that one lines up with something. So, like,
You've, yeah, yeah, we have done a lot of work.
oh,
I know. I don't know why I'm necessarily chatting. He said he's watching the video, so he should be able to hear me.
there is a 20-minute delay though.
A 20
So,
minute
or
delay?
30, like a. Oh God, can you imagine? The worst live stream ever.
No kidding.
In fact, you could call it a live stream at that point. Oh, Cole says, did you know that the 1997 film Titanic cost more to make than the actual ship itself? I think I read somewhere that it, and I believe it. I totally believe that it cost more. I mean, although if you account for inflation, yes, but if you actually accounted for inflation, uh, I'm not sure about that, but I believe
Are
that it
we
did.
sure that line is correct?
Which one? The one I just did, or the one?
The one before that.
Uh, no. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's correct. 20-minute delay, worst live stream ever. Hashtag boycott YouTube live stream. Yes, indeed. So this one, can you go to the one that you're looking at? This one right
Never
here?
mind, you're right. Okay. I was
Okay.
looking at a different section.
Oh, this one, oh, it ended in a weird place. Our shear is a little odd. It's not that bad.
How dare you say that?
Uh, I'm sorry. I misspoke.
Only but praise for
Only praise. I will not accept anything but praise. Uh, come on.
that last one should line up with
I think
the
it does.
line way up
Oh,
here.
all the way like on E deck.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I think it's this right.
I agree. One thing I'll mention before anyone necessarily asks a question about it is whether or not four or three bladed propeller. I think we have plans to build a three bladed propeller, and so we can kind of interchange them as the group discusses
Oh
which one
yeah.
we want to go with. There's arguments for both. As far as concrete information towards one or the other, I know the three-bladed propeller actually has documentation that it was ordered. However, there is a picture of Titanic in the dry dock where the propellers would be installed with a four-bladed propeller next to it. So take it either way you want. It's a good question whether or not Titanic had a three-bladed propeller or not.
Yeah. So this is why we live stream on Twitch. I suppose we could live stream on Twitch. Yeah, live stream on Twitch. There's no like.
I've thought about it.
I guess the only reason I would say stay with YouTube is because you have a channel on YouTube, and it's
Right.
just at
It'd
this
be
point
a
things are kind
little
of
bit
like,
harder, exactly, to set up another place for people to go. And also, one of the nice things about this is once the live stream here on YouTube is done, it automatically becomes a, a video part of my channel that people can
oh
go
yeah,
back
part
and
of your
watch.
channel.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm pretty sure Twitch will also save the video that you can watch later, but because it's a video on your channel, that kind of it's not too bad. I mean, the delay isn't like uh that bad.
Oh
Like
yeah, thank you,
it's
Zach.
acceptable.
Yeah, the
Okay.
stern is very different. It should be noticeable if you go back and compare it to the hull update stern. It's a lot different. You can see that that line is at a completely different angle. The actual white section, the white portion of the ship, it doesn't hang down as much as it used to. And then because of the plated look, when it goes between certain plates here and then plates there. It has more of an edge to it than it did before.
All right, so we can probably go on for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
I would say maybe 9:30ish, maybe.
since we're already at a hour, do we want to start showing things off a little bit?
Sure, I suppose we can do that. That's probably not a bad
Well,
idea.
I guess before I ask that, because that would kind of be a closing thing, I just want to ask the people in the chat who are watching if they
Oh,
want,
if they'd like to see it,
right, if they want a sticker, if they think they want the stream to go on a little bit longer, because then we can continue working. Because
that's
as
true.
soon as we kind of show off that stuff, there's really going to be nothing else to do on the
That's
stream.
true. I love how the whole place. How do you know the ship? How do yo know the ship's plates were like that? We have plans.
Yeah, Jesse, we answered this at the beginning or when we were setting up, but yes, we're using plans from TitanicCADplans.com, or what am I saying? TitanicCADplans.com, and you can go on there and check them out if you're interested. Bob Reed has put together a set of very detailed, highly accurate. We have found some mistakes, or I wouldn't even say that they're necessarily mistakes. There are some mistakes that he's listed on his website, but there are differences that are between Bruce Beveridge's GA plans, general arrangement, specifically in regards to portholes on the port and starboard side, their locations and the number of them in certain places, which makes us have to be a little bit cautious when we're counting, especially when we're counting lines for the side light portholes up on the black portion, because
Mhm.
sometimes either Bob Reed doesn't include them or he has them in slightly different positions, and we just have to make sure to have it consistent with Bob Reed, or sorry, Bruce Beveridge's plan.
I see two of us says show us, one says longer. Cole says clom. Not sure what
Says,
clom
show
means.
us please the plan. Okay, yeah, I can put it up for a moment. I don't want to leave it up too long or show it in high definition because these are things you do have to purchase.
Oh yeah, so don't keep it too long.
Oh,
Oh,
Matey's back actually.
Matey is back.
Welcome back. Welcome.
Cool.
Friend.
Someone where to get someone like Zachary vlogs ask us where we got the porthole plans. Um, we have how I guess the same plans. Oh yeah. Oh, can you guys apparently did we go silent? Can you guys hear us? I'm seeing some about Zachary says me can no longer hear anything.
Oh, okay. I must have pressed my mute button accidentally. Sorry about that.
Please not plan. You meant the PLS was please not plans. You must have misread that.
Oh,
Okay, it was just
I know why the stream went mute because when I was messaging Matey and I said, "Welcome to the stream, my friend," I pressed M, and that's my mute key. I should
whoop.
probably change that.
Yeah.
But yep, let me go back to finding the picture. Photos.
Again, the windows, while he's looking for that, we had to not only do we have to use like the exterior plans, because obviously if we did that, yeah, it would look great on the exterior, but when we start to build the interior, since Minecraft, obviously we have to build with meter long blocks, some rooms are going to have to be shifted over a little bit to kind of make everything nice, look even and nice. So we had to keep in mind the look of the exterior while also balancing that with where they're going to be on the interior. So
I don't know why this image isn't working.
we are using we kind of compromise there. So we didn't have one specific plan. We kind of used a whole bunch of them. And yeah, there's red.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up properly. Here, I have a different way of showing the image actually. Give me a second. Where's
Hmm.
that? I'll try one more
People are
way.
saying show us some interiors. Um, we don't
I don't
really
think there's
have.
actually really been any changes to the interior since the last live stream
No.
because
If you'd like to see interiors, you can watch our previous live stream.
I mean
In
we can go
that.
inside it again to show it off to maybe people who haven't seen it before. But pretty much right after that live stream, within the next couple of weeks, we started working on exterior only, and we put the interior on hold until we got the exterior done.
Yeah,
Let's see, let's go with window capture. Next time, maybe I'll have this set up a little bit better, because I wasn't expecting.
to show off.
Okay, let's see if this works. Ah, there
Yeah,
we
what?
go. There, you can see what I'm using. So there it is.
Well, they can't see it. Just can they? Oh, I don't see it just yet on the screen, but give it a bit.
It's probably a little bit of delay.
Yes, yes, of course.
This is it, and you can zoom in, and you can see the portholes and the plate lines.
Oh,
This is the
okay.
port profile, and there's also a starboard profile, which we will be using once we get to the starboard side. Once we get this, I mean, we've probably been working on the shell plating for about over a week and a half now, maybe even 2 weeks, I'd say. And once we get the port side done, we still have a whole another side to do because it's completely different
Yeah,
than
and then we
the
have
port
the
side.
underside of the ship, and then like the actual stern underside of the stern. So
Yeah,
we
the
got quite a ways to
stern,
go with this.
stern and the bosun arms that hold the propeller shafts, the two wing propellers.
Yeah, that's gonna be
That
kind of
those are
tricky
the
to.
most complicated portions of the hull to do plating for. Everything else is mostly just being careful, making sure things line up in relation to one another. But that is that.
Yeah. Do we do this by hand? Jesse Gillette asks us.
The
Pretty much.
portholes we did not do by hand. I took probably, I'd say, in total, a good maybe 50 hours to plan out all the portholes to make sure between decks they lined up, that the walls would work out. Because since we weren't doing the interior, I had to think about what we would be doing in the future for the interior. If we need, say, double walls or the way the hallways line up, making sure that the window spacing is even or that there's a good pattern going through the window spacing, making sure that if between the different sections the windows are supposed to be within the same section, that they do line up with one another. All of that took a lot of time to plan out. So that was done not by hand. However, the shell plating afterwards, because we're using so many different plans and we're combining the best features that are the most accurate from all of them, different people who drafted those, there's slight differences between them, so it wouldn't have been enough, or it wouldn't have been to our advantage to take, say, that plan that I just showed you guys and put it in the same document as where I have the Bruce Beveridge GA side view and where I originally planned out all of the very middle line, if you remember going back to that very first Titanic uh, join the team application video. It wouldn't have been
Hmm.
to our advantage to do that because there are differences between the plans that wouldn't have all of this stuff line up. So what we do
Hmm.
is we just look at the plan and then we base it off the stuff that we know is accurate on our ship. So if we have the things, the portholes, for example, that are accurate, then we can count between them, put the lines between the different portholes and side lights, and if they're accurate within the relation to the portholes, we know they're accurate to the ship that we're building.
Right. Okay. Uh, so what do we want to do? Want to show off some other stuff, I guess? Seems like want to show us wants to show off things. What do you think?
Will we be adding food such as eclairs
Eclairs
to the
in the
dining
dining
room?
room? Well, I can kind of answer that one. That all depends on what we think the ship would have been like at what time was it? What time is our diorama going to be set up? Because we're going to set this up like a diorama
Hmm.
at a very specific time, as literally as if everyone just disappeared.
Yeah, a snapshot in history. So
without people.
the time frame we're going for, I don't have the exact second and minutes right off the top of my head, but it's right after the last of the cargo has been filled into the ship from the cargo cranes. The covers to the hatches have been covered up, and uh, port the lines that were drawn attaching the ship to the berth are just about to be released. So the tugs are approaching the ship, they're tying their lines, and the lines that attach Titanic to Southampton are about to be thrown off. That's the time we're
So
going for.
there will most definitely be food in the kitchen, like definitely being prepared because chefs would have gotten up really early to start cooking. Not only would start cooking up for the galley people, and obviously the galley, the crew galley is going to definitely have food being cooked, as well as the first, first and second, and the first, second class galley and the third class galley will all have food in it. It probably will not have food like on the actual plates in the dining salon because wouldn't have eaten yet, I don't think, but there will be food inside there, like getting ready to be served for lunch. I'm at lunch or dinner. I'm going to kind of figure that out.
Yep. And Jesse, we did answer this question,
Oh
I
yeah.
think about 10 minutes ago. So, short answer for that question is we do not have plans at the moment to do Britannic.
Okay. So what do you want to kind of show off here?
Well, it's been an hour and 10 minutes. So, if we kind of want to go into, since we did a little bit of the build process for the hull lines, we can kind of go over very quickly all of the areas we do have currently done.
X
So, if you
course.
want to TP to me, we can kind of do a
Sure.
walkthrough right from the front of the forecastle.
Oh, here. Right. Oh, all right. Well, Cole 80 has to go, so you're welcome for answering. And
Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for
yes,
being
thank you for joining us.
an active participator. And Jesse, no problem with that. I know a lot of people join, come in and out, and that's no problem.
Yep.
And we're happy to answer anything we can. Feel free to go back and also watch the video on demand afterwards or anytime in the future when you have time, and you'll
Yep.
be able to hear some of the other questions that we were able to answer.
Yeah, I would think then our live streams are normally going to be about. They're going to be long since we work. We're thinking about just doing this like a normal work day. So we usually work from like I don't know 9 o'clock and at night to like midnight, 1 o'clock. I
Yep.
know it's kind of late for some of you, but that we figured we'll just stream and whoever watches can watch us, or you guys can watch the archive. So that's gonna be how long these next videos are gonna be. But this tonight's video is gonna have to be a little short, but future videos will be a little longer. But anyway, we can go on and show off what we have.
The forecastle is, as far as I know, completely done. We have everything from the anchor well forward to the actual winches, the anchor winches here to the capstans. And interesting feature that we have that I haven't seen on many Titanics before is we have margin plating around
Oh
all
yeah.
of the deck details, capstans, pretty simple. But then also on Titanic and Olympic, there was this raised, thicker, wider planks that were in place more to support the heavy loads of the anchor chain and the equipment that moved it. So that's why there's a little bit of a raise in the deck here is for the extra support. And then in Southampton as well, there was a phone that was attached in this position. It could either go in this position here, or there's also another brass plate that it could attach to back here. There actually is photos of
Oh
Olympic
yeah. I
where
remember
this
this.
telephone is connected to the bridge. And there's a really famous photo of Titanic that everyone knows. If you type in Titanic Southampton into Google, I think it's the very first one that comes up with like the person in the foreground next to the railroad tracks with like his like top hat on. And you can actually see one of the officers up here. I think it's Boxhall that is right here, right where I'm floating on the deck. And he was in charge of overseeing the crew as they were getting ready to depart from the dock.
And I believe you can kind of see that. I think we've said we can see this thing here. It's so tiny, but I believe we can see it
Yep.
if I remember correctly.
But I mean, we have
Uh,
things like the water valves for
oh yeah,
attaching hoses and washing the deck. Another
oh yeah.
thing we
I was
have,
gonna ask if you wanted to show off those an example of
Oh, yeah. This is an
Great
example of
effect.
using the heads to great effect to go into more detail with certain things. We use those all throughout the ship. I think we showed them off last time in the
Did
interior
we?
where we kind of use
Oh,
them
we
with like the
did.
food storage
Right. I
in,
completely forgot about that.
yeah, in the grocery area. Uh,
Ethan Tinley wants to know if he can help.
Currently,
I'm
right
gonna.
now, our team is set. We don't have plans on opening up applications again, but that's all I really can say and answer at the
At
moment.
the moment. Yeah.
But if there is opportunities in the future, we'll be very happy to let people know about any opportunities that do come up. And then a couple last things on the forecastle. We have the actual valves themselves. The actual wheels to these valves up top here, they were only in place when the ship was stopped in either a harbor or docked. When it was actually on open sea, not only would the telephone be stored away somewhere, but these wheels for releasing steam into the cranks would also be taken out. So that,
So when we
yeah,
do
wind,
a
wind and rain and storms didn't blow them away.
so when we do a um oh like on the C version, that is something we have to remember to move so that can be accurate. But on to where are we gonna go now? Where do you have
Oh,
show off?
Jesse, this map will be available for download. There will be the
Oh,
Southampton version and a ocean version that will be within the same file that you can use on your own computer and own server.
and we are aware that people may have some issues due to lag, but that's something that just can't be helped. Like I'm sure we'll put a notice in the download link that this is a very large map and you might experience lag. But since I mean since we can't really, I mean the only thing we can do to eliminate lag is to remove uh entities. But I think even with entities not on the ship, you're still going to lag. So I think
Yep.
it's just the nature of the beast.
Gonna quickly move through the bridge here. Hello,
Oh,
Captain Smith.
well, we should mention about that. He is here simply because
He's
of
a height reference.
he's a height reference. He will not be here in the original ship. There will be no uh
Built-in people.
people, built-in people uh on the ship just because it would look kind of cluttered, and also we want to show off the ship, and we want people to kind of want you guys, I guess, to freely walk around the ship without really having to interfere with people.
Uh, Pilot, I don't know of Prepare 3D. If you're talking about a flight simulator, which I think you are, the only one that I have used in the past is Flight Simulator like 2007, but it's been a while since I've used it. So no, I am not familiar with Prepare 3D. Here's a wing cab
Oh, you're over
done.
here.
These compartments here are actually for the binoculars. There's one on this side and one on the other side. So those are just binocular boxes. Bye, Ethan
Oh,
Tilney.
have a
Thanks
good one, Ethan.
for.
Thanks for joining us. Do you want to show off the lifeboats here? These
Yeah,
were
we can actually just kind of fly like towards the back of the stern, just kind of giving people a chance to look
sure.
at what's been done. But yeah, if you want to talk about the lifeboats, as I know, you and me have a very close connection to them.
Yes. So these lifeboats, we spent quite a lot of time on them, not only because obviously we want to make them correct, but uh, if you were to go to the lifeboats and pull off the cover, you will notice that everything that should be in the lifeboats is in there. And when we say everything, we base this off the list that was retrieved from the was it the,
Well,
recovery list when it
yeah, when they
isn't
stored
that
them
what we
in New
use?
York, when they tied them together in New York after they took them off the Carpathia, they made a list of everything that
That was
was found within the lifeboats themselves. So what
so we
equipment was
decided
there and what rations.
so we decided to put as much as that put in there. And for boats that were missing, I think we just copied like one of the previous boats.
We
Yeah,
we copied the
inventory.
relevant boat on that was on the other side.
That's right. Yeah.
So
And
every
also,
boat, as far as like what's inside it, we encourage everyone on when they do explore the ship for themselves to actually explore everything.
Oh yeah, open
Because
up things, look inside, because we are trying to avoid making facades as much as we possibly can. Everything will have
all of the
uh,
boats are individually recreated. So even
place.
though, as Matt made reference to, that when we didn't have information, we copied like the equipment of one of the other boats, we still put it in different positions because we know that there would be no way that there would be an exact
Duplicate.
replica, right, duplicate of one lifeboat to the next. So everything is individual, everything is personalized, and the lifeboats themselves are almost kind of a dedication to the people who were able and lucky enough at the time to get into them, because
Mhm.
it's kind of like a time capsule of what was found when, after that horrible night, they knew that they would be saved in the morning once Carpathia arrived on the horizon. So it's kind of one, a tribute, but two, it's for the accuracy of the ship to
Yep.
have those lifeboats be unique.
And hello, Spider's Eye 192. Welcome.
Catching us
As you can,
right as
mhm.
we kind of come towards the back here.
Yeah, as you can see, we have nothing as of yet for the stern well deck and the poop deck.
Hmm.
That's because we really haven't gotten a chance to do this yet. Uh, as ZB and I are working on the hull, while engineer guy Mr. D and Matey work on A deck. So they're going to kind of work on the A deck, B deck, and then hopefully the cannon deck. We'll all kind of work on that. We're kind of doing our own thing at currently, but this will all get done eventually before we start the interior. Okay.
And that's the back of the stern.
Yep.
Titanic up top. A very low resolution Liverpool. Actually, the Liverpool needs to be changed
Is it?
because, yeah,
Oh,
because
it's symmetrical.
yep, when I copied and flipped it, I,
Unfortunately, Liverpool is not a palindrome,
let's see,
so we cannot do that.
that needs to be that. Liverpool.
And
Yeah.
again, I will remind you guys there is no interior really as of yet. The only interior is going to be down below, and check that out on that video, which is going to be mostly cargo, and then boiler rooms and engine rooms.
Yep.
Hello, Sky Zone Gaming. Welcome to our live stream.
Just
Kind of
catching us right at the end.
unfortunately, yes, but don't fear. This is not the only live stream. This is going to be one of many live streams. Hopefully, we plan
Yeah, depending on
more in
how
the
much
future.
progress we get done in this week, we might either choose to do a live stream next week, or if we feel like we're just going to be kind of working on the same
Oh
things
yeah,
and that might not be as interesting for people, we might choose to do it maybe on a bi-weekly basis, depending on, obviously, if we can get the hull plating done on the port side and we actually are able to do something a
'cause,
little
yeah,
bit different for the next live stream.
we don't want to like bore you guys like the same thing because chances are, if we did it like every single week, probably like for the next like 2 months, this would be like 8 live streams. You'll be seeing us do the exact same thing, which is plating,
Yeah,
which
shell plating on both
I don't
sides.
think would be like super exciting. But hey, if you guys really want it, we absolutely can. But I personally don't think it'd be that exciting. I think I'd rather see like maybe a bi-weekly kind of.
Hmm. And
That's
even
what
if even
it's.
if the shell, like for example, if we get the port side shell plating done, there's still other things that we don't necessarily have to work on the starboard shell plating for a live stream. If we get, as long as we keep our work progress going at a pretty decent pace, we obviously can work on other things like either B deck needs to be worked on,
Oh
and
yeah,
then the aft well deck. So there's a lot of things we can do in the
that's true.
meantime, just specifically for the live streams that we might not otherwise do in that order.
Jesse wants to know if we're gonna do a version with the iceberg hitting. Uh,
That'd be
not
pretty quick to do. I would
yeah, it
have,
would be.
yeah, I'd
We
have to
just
do
take
a
our
world
ocean
painter
version.
version. Yeah, ocean version, make a world, and then world paint together a iceberg. Although I'd have to shape it like the Rock of Gibraltar.
We have to figure out at what like time. Like, is it like did it just hit? Had it already been
Oh
hitting
yeah,
halfway?
yeah, good
Did it
point. Do
just
we want it to
finish
be like
hitting?
touching, yeah, touching the ship, like just as it's making contact? Do we want it in the di like, in the distance, like where they're first sighting it? Good question. I
We have to
didn't think
kind
of
of
that.
figure that. Yeah, no, there's a lot we have to think about that, but So is there anything else that we want to show? 'Cause I think we figured that we're gonna stop working now, so you guys kind of got an idea of how we work. Not exactly the most compelling of things to watch us work. But you haven't.
But hopefully, the chance to talk with us and answer questions was worth
Oh
maybe
yeah.
doing it again in the future.
So I guess we'll take any final questions, I suppose, before we go. Make them all. I'm make them all. I suppose we can. That'd be a lot.
I think Cronus isn't Kronostarth doing like snapshots in time of
I
his
think so.
Titanic?
I think he is. It's kind of cool. I think they're like all on Planet Minecraft. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, he has
Seeing like
videos of them too. If you
I haven't
haven't
actually watched the
checked
videos,
those
but
out.
that sounds kind of cool.
The one
So
thing to consider is
okay.
that whenever you do anything in 4-to-1 scale, knowing how you and me and everyone on the team are pretty much perfectionists, doing anything just because of the sheer size and the fact that we do want to get everything just right, it seems like whatever we do will take forever to do.
Yeah. Pan American 1501 wants to know if those blue things on the side are windows. They are windows, but they're not the windows. They're like markings. That's
Yes,
where windows will be going. And the reason they're out like that is so that we can place the plates uh, better. Because
make it a bit easier to see them while we're doing
if they were
plating.
like pushed in, it would be really difficult. We'd have to kind of go up and check, and it would be much more difficult. But with them like this, it makes it visible using the lapis.
And Sky Zone, this is the Southampton map, but included also in the download, there will be an ocean map as well. So if you just kind of want to experience Titanic on
On
the
the ocean.
on the high seas. And do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Random question, but I suppose we can answer it. They're pretty good. Yeah, I don't mind them. I like peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I think the last time I had one was probably when I was 8, if I'm being honest.
It's been a long time. Yes, I'll be honest too. Um, Brody Lu Lubeck. Lubeck. I'm sorry if I just butchered your name. I apologize. Is there a date when we're going to be finished? Not really, since things are kind of going as slowly as they're going to when you do something.
The
You try to
date
do
of
something like this.
completion is the date of completion is the soonest after everything is done.
Oh, that's a good. So
Yeah.
there you go, guys. As soon the date is when everything is done. Will we make a sinking version? Kind
That
of
that would
can't.
that would be that wouldn't be
I
too
mean,
hard. However, there would be sacrifices made because if you think about it, the best we can take advantage of the height that we have is when the ship is perfectly level on the
yeah,
water. As soon as we start to angle the ship at all, the
you're
stern
gonna
is going
start.
to go higher and higher, and so we're going to be cutting more of the aft mast off. But we'd have to see. Probably just for curiosity's sake, I might make a sinking version. And if it's good enough, I might think to release it.
Well, what I would if I were to do that, I think an option would be to, you know, make a sinking version with like a mod that increases height limit, and then like tell people like, hey, in order to see this map fully, you need to install this mod, or you can just download the way it is and kind of see a chopped off Titanic. That's also an option. I just thought
Yep.
of that.
Meme dealer, yes. Band of Brothers is probably one of my favorite miniseries of all time. I think it's a great recreation of not only the characters, but the history of the war. I highly recommend it to anyone who has any interest in the late 1944 invasion of Normandy and beyond.
And how about a wrecked version? That is
That's
plausible.
unlikely.
It's unlikely, but it's more plausible than a single.
Of
Because I
all,
mean,
well, of all the things that have been suggested and asked about if there is a possibility, besides obviously other ships or other like Olympic or Britannic, but changes to Titanic, that is the least likely to do.
because you literally have to destroy and rust the entire ship.
Right, and
So
there would be
that's
so much work that would go into actually detailing the interior with rusticles and like, breaking apart different walls and
So
furniture.
as funny as it sounds, you think, oh, how hard could it be to destroy a ship? Well, when you're trying to destroy a ship to make it look like something that has existed,
Right. Basically, if
it's
you're
kind
trying
of
to
like
recreate
building.
an accurate like a rubble pile, it's very hard to
Yeah.
do.
Oh, there's so many people are suggesting like a version where it breaks in half.
That would
That's
also be
fun.
very complicated. That's not really well, actually,
That one's
the
not that difficult
that
because you
would be
only
that
have to
hard
destroy.
because what we would have to do because of the height limit issue, we would have to basically have the water level be pretty near the bottom because we need a lot of angle for the stern itself. So
Yeah,
you wouldn't get to see the front of the ship. So we basically make probably a cut right around at surface water level, and you really could only see everything above it that's above the
would
surface of the water. But
we'd also have,
that would be
yeah.
possible. That and
Well,
also that would be a little bit easier to do in comparison to a wreck because since no one knows exactly what like the jaggedness of the
it
break
looked
point
like,
is, it'd
so
be
we
more
have
easy to
creative
go in
freedom
there and
then.
kind of split it up.
Uh,
Upside
also the
down, why not mirrored?
upside down version.
Why not a mirrored version where everything on the port is now the starboard and everything on the starboard is now the port?
I just getting crazy there. Anyway, I think we're kind of reaching the end here.
Yep,
So
right at an hour and 30
like
minutes.
end. Oh wow, perfect. That's good timing. So I guess thanks everyone for joining us and watching us. Unfortunately, cutting this one a little short, but again, future live streams like this will be at least 3 hours long, and hopefully maybe we'll do this next.
I think it mostly depends on what we're doing. If what we're actually building and looking into is a bit more engaging, we might be able to go
Yeah,
longer. And it also depends on how many people are here and how many questions are there to be asked.
yeah. So we might not doing live streams might be kind of a like spur of the moment thing because planning this one we wanted to plan because it was our first one that we're doing, explaining all this. But I have a feeling that other ones, will be like, I'll talk to ZB and be like, hey, do you want to stream this? And be like, yeah, all right. So unfortunately, planning live streams is going to be a little difficult. They're going to be archived. You guys can always go and uh, watch. I mean, unless of course ZB do want to mention them, but that would be up to you. I
No,
think
I
we
think
should do
that's
that.
okay.
Just kind of doing a spur of the moment thing. So feel free to check back on ZBLDS's channel for watching.
Yeah, if it ends up, we're definitely going to do another notification for when the next live stream is going to be coming out. But as we get more into it and we do it kind of on a
More.
more consistent basis, we'll probably get into a schedule where you can expect when the live streams are going to be coming out. But definitely, whether or not we figure out if we're going to do one next week or if we're going to wait 2 weeks to do it, we'll let you
Mhm.
guys know.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I guess we'll say our final goodbyes here. Again, thanks for watching.
Really
Uh,
appreciate everyone checking it out.
yes, hopefully you guys enjoyed this a little bit more. Uh, and we're glad that we can give you guys more of an update from the last time we did our live stream.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys. See
All
you
right, guys.
in the next video.
Yep. Later, guys.